Good morning, Cancer. I hope you have gotten a great night's rest and you're ready for the day and the week ahead. Let's take a look at your week ahead and see what's going to happen. We're going to take a look at see where you've been, where you're at currently, and where you're going. Seems like there's been a lot on your mind lately. And let's see, hopefully, if we can get some clarity on that and see what we need to do to move forward. Okay, so do know, as I always say, that this is a general reading. So this may or may not apply to everyone here. I hope that this reading applies to you. If it doesn't, I would encourage you to come back in the future because hopefully there'll be another reading that does apply to you. If it doesn't resonate with you, I would ask that you think about another Cancer in your life that may be able to benefit from this reading, and please pass this along to them. But let's stick around and see if this is your reading today. All right, so we're going to start out with, oops, let me put that up there so you can get a closer look. We're starting out with the Hermit, okay? And then we've got the Queen of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, the Moon, the Devil. Don't let this card scare you. I know this one looks scary. It's not as bad as it looks. Queen of Swords, Ace of Cups, Seven of Pentacles, Judgment, Ace of Wands. Okay. Well, Cancer, you continue to have a lot on your mind. Wow. Okay. So let's get right to it. We're starting off with where you're at right now, and that is you are the Hermit, or you feel like the Hermit. So maybe you're surrounded by people. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are alone, but you're feeling alone. You're feeling as if you're having to light your own path going forward. Um, at least in one form, maybe in all forms, there's definitely some loneliness going on right now. Again, it may be all around and in general, or it may be about a specific scenario, but something there you're feeling like you're having to go it alone in one way or another. The other thing that I'm seeing here is there's a lot of pentacles, which typically I like to see a lot of pentacles because that tells me that there's money on the horizon and things are good, but you're worried about money right now. That's what I'm taking away from this. There is something you are concerned about finances, either current finances or future finances. They're definitely on the brain. So you've got the the Queen of Pentacles, and when the Queen of Pentacles comes up, you can see that she's nurturing her finances, right? She's taking care of it, but this is actually showing up as an obstacle. So you have an obstacle right now. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're not caring about your finances, but there's some kind of a block here that's related to going it alone. So something about this path tells me, again, whatever your thinking is in alone, maybe there's some kind of recent debt you've taken on, or maybe you're considering retirement, but you haven't told anybody that yet, or changing jobs, or maybe you're unemployed and looking for a job. Something's going on here with finances. I say that because here in the past, you've been very focused and guarded about your finances. With the Four of Pentacles, you can see here that he's holding down his money with all his might on this card. He's got his feet firmly planted on the money in fear that it's going to blow away. He's got both arms wrapped around the coins here to make sure that he's holding it, and he's got money on his mind right now. So in every way, shape, and form, you've been thinking about money. So we move to the Moon here, and what's going on is recently, or perhaps this week, since this is a weekly reading, the Moon is going to light a new path. So you've either just discovered it or you're just about to discover it, but there is a new path. but it was there the whole time, but it was in the dark. You're seeing it by moonlight. So it wasn't an apparent path at first, but now you're coming to realize, uh, again, coming out of the dark or being lit up in the dark by the moon, that there is this new path, or maybe a couple of paths for you. The reason I say a couple of paths is because right now, today, uh, we're coming down to the devil card. And again, don't let this strike fear into you. What this really simply means is temptation. There is temptation. Something is tempting you right now. Maybe it's the right path or maybe it's the wrong path, but something is tempting you, and it's tempting you to do something that maybe you shouldn't, or maybe you should reconsider, or maybe you need to give some more thought to. Uh, if this path is actually a fork in the road, don't be tempted to go down the wrong path, but also don't be tempted to do nothing. Um, Maybe this path that is being lit is becoming apparent to you. It's not a path that you would have typically have picked, because again, it was in the dark. But but maybe this path, by not taking it, being tempted not to take this path, you may continue to have finances on the mind, on the brain. So kind of keep an open mind right now is how I'm reading this. Uh, your future here is the Queen of Swords, which is good because that means you're really nurturing the way that you're thinking about this. So I'm glad to know that immediately followed by my saying, think about it, give some thought to it, and don't be tempted, you are in the future being seen as given thought to it. Now, since this is a weekly reading, I'm hoping that means the future, as in later this week or in a few days, that you're really going to give some serious thought to it. You're nurturing your thoughts. And what I like about the Queen of Swords is oftentimes she's talkative. Okay, so she is one that she's not only going to be thinking about things, or having this way of thinking or this epiphany, but she's going to be bouncing it off of people that she cares about, that are close to her, good friends, family members, something along that, maybe a coworker. She's going to be giving a lot of thought to it. Now, if I remove this financial block, let's forget about that for a second and just bring the present state of being the hermit and going it alone, but then comparing that to the Queen of Swords and saying, okay, right now, today, you're feeling alone, but soon your thoughts are going to lead you to, you know what, let's confide in people. Let's really get some advice and really take some advice. Okay. Why I say that is because we come immediately down here to your environment, present state, and that's the Ace of Cups. Aces are beginnings, cups are emotions. So in the Ace of Cups, you're really thinking, all right, there's a new way of thinking here. There's a new way of thinking about your emotions, and you're feeling good about it, or you're starting to feel good about it. Okay, so maybe if we link all the way back here, the moon is a path that you wouldn't have chosen for yourself, but it's presented itself and it's an opportunity. Don't be tempted to stand still, because sometimes if you're standing still, we're going to, you do the same, you get the same. So keep staying where you're at. You're going to keep worrying about finances and you're going to keep having this block. Instead of being a hermit who's sitting there worried about finances and worrying about this, let's consider taking this path and not be tempted to stay the same. Let's bounce it off of a few people, take their advice into consideration, and let's fill your cup with a new emotion, right? With a new beginning that's going to make you feel whole. Okay. So if I think about how you are seeing yourself here and now, not necessarily in the next few days or the future, as these are kind of alluding to here, but looking at it right now, you have the Seven of Pentacles, and this is basically a garden full of money, right? And a garden grows. He wants to harvest it. He wants to harvest this money, but he's so consumed about holding on to his money and not letting it go somewhere that he's a little bit afraid to harvest it. Maybe it's in a savings account right now where it's growing some. Maybe it's in some type of retirement account and it's growing there, but you can't touch it because we're so locked and we're not able to move forward. On the other hand, if this is a situation where you're unemployed, Obviously you don't want to dwindle your reserves, and so you're sitting there a little bit somber looking at it going, man, I have the money I hope that I need to survive, or maybe you're getting an unemployment check for now or something. So you've got something you can survive, you've got it, but you're worried about it, and you're a little bit worried that, are my crops going to do okay, right? He's a farmer, he's going to harvest. It's kind of one of those, I'm really trying to take care of my crops, because if we have another bad storm, I might lose it all. And that's, think about that from a standpoint of finances, but that's how you see yourself right now, is you've got things you can sustain, but can you keep weathering the storm? So that brings me to your hopes, right? Your hope right now is in the card of judgment. Judgment, you can see here that the trumpet is sounding and these people are being called to rise up, right? They're trapped in these boxes, these coffins, right? And they're actually being, the alarm bell, the horn is sounding, calling them to action, rising up. So now, again, if I go back a few steps here and tie that in, if you're unemployed right now, you might literally be waiting for the call, right? You're waiting for the phone to ring to be called to work, or to be called for a promotion if you're already working, or something that's going to help you stop thinking about finances so much. You're really wanting to be called to action. That's your hope. Your fear, I probably don't have to tell you, is that that call won't come. That call is going to come too late. That's the fear. So the hope is here. The outcome is actually looking really good. All right. So the outcome is the Ace of Wands. Aces, again, as I mentioned down here in Cups, are new beginnings. So you're going to have new emotional beginnings. All right. You're going to have a new way of thinking, which both of these things lead to, you are going to take action. Or, okay, the cards or the universe might be telling you that you need to take action. It's one of those two. Either you're going to or you need to. If you haven't, you probably need to. Uh, so you're going to have to make it happen. Let's see what your shadow card says here, which is the card on the bottom of the deck. Okay, so, yep, fork in the road, as I suspected. You might remember back here, I told you it was at least one path, maybe two. This is telling me that it's probably two paths, okay? Swords are the way of thinking. So you've got two different ways, or maybe even more than that, but at least two different ways that you're thinking, okay, I could go this route or I could go this route. The thing is, you can tell in the Two of Swords, she's blindfolded, right? So you're blindly going to have to choose a path and which one to go down. Don't be tempted to take the wrong path. How do you do that? Well, don't be a hermit. Okay. First of all, don't be a hermit and sit there and try and figure it out yourself. You have people in your life. So let's pull out the Queen of Swords sometime this week. Okay. And let's start thinking in this new way, but start being talkative about it. Pull in those people close enough to you. See what you can find out. See what advice they have. Now, ultimately, going back to this, you are the only one that can do it. You are in charge of your new beginnings, of your actions, okay, of the ones. So you are going to have to take charge here, and you're going to have to pick a path. But if you do these things, you get the advice you need from whom you feel you need it. Okay, embrace this new emotion that you're feeling, this new positive emotion that's coming here. Take a chance on a path. Blindly take a chance. It's looking more and more to me like you really probably can't go wrong here. I really keep going back to, as soon as I pulled this out, the temptation is, I feel it in my bones that it's being, what the spirits are trying to say here is, don't be tempted to keep doing the same thing. Take a path, even if it's a blind leap of faith, so that your hope can come to the front and you will be called to action one way or another. Man, I'm excited for you. I'm sorry that you're having all this anguish and all this anxiety over money, but I do see a path forward. You're going to have to take action. You're going to have to own it. You're going to have to do it. And even if it's the wrong path, remember, we can always correct that later. But I think what I'm seeing here is, I don't think either path is wrong. One path may be better than the other, but I don't think either is wrong. It's time to take action. I really look forward to seeing what you do this week, and I can't wait to see you next week and see your developments. Have a good week, Cancer, and don't be afraid to take action.